The humorless, out-of-touch American left. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Okay, over the weekend, CNN obtained, released, and then went apoplectic over comments President Trump made to a group of donors on a Saturday event at Mar-a-Lago. Now, Trump noted that Chinese President Xi Jinping was now going to essentially be president for life. And Trump added, "I think it's great. Maybe we'll want to give that a shot someday."
China's great, and Xi is a great gentleman. He's now president for life. President for life. No, he's great. He's great. Look, he was able to do it. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday.
I can't do Trump as good as Trump can do Trump. Well, look, it is obvious from the audio that this was something called, in English, a joke. It's obvious to everyone except America's resistance media, which has all but lost touch with reality.
This kind of consolidation of power is not just un-American. It's impractical. It's counterproductive. And we ought not to hold it up.
Donald Trump is praising a man's consolidation of power that has been compared repeatedly to Mao's.
Yeah, all he knows is, is it good for me and my image? Is it good for,
Does it feel good to say right now?
Does it feel good to say it right now? Yeah,
it's
I know
even more visceral and stupid.
Kind of
there are strains of authoritarianism going on here in the homeland. That is something that the people in the room, I think, probably were laughing nervously at. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Totally. Well, no morning jokesters there. CNN's Chris Cillizza saw something even more sinister. Under the headline, "This may be the scariest thing Donald Trump has said as president," he wrote, "Trump has demonstrated his governing theory is largely centered on taking as much as you can until someone stops you. That worldview is what makes Trump thought on Xi all the more chilling." Well, it was no more chilling than what he said on Saturday night at the Gridiron Dinner, which is a fun comedic event for the D.C. and business power players. Again, this is humor. The president jokingly referenced possible talks with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, saying, "As far as the risk of dealing with the Madman is concerned, that's not his problem. That's his problem, not mine." In other words, Trump's the madman, trying to make fun of himself. So you know why the left is so agitated by these jokes? Because the president is besting them at their own game. And in the process, he's kind of endearing himself to the public. I have a question. Why should the left be the only group allowed to engage in a little sarcasm, a little comedy, a little self-deprecating humor? The left does not mind at all dishing it out. But the moment the president or any conservative ribs them, or even themselves for that matter, self-deprecating, there's immediate blowback. What am I talking about here? Movie stars, sports celebrities, television actors, they shoot their mouths off on politics and public affairs all the time. It's like reflexive, they can't help themselves. And we're supposed to react as if Plato himself had come back to opine on contemporary issues. Like, "Oh, thank you for your commentary. It's so well informed." Look, everybody has the right to speak his or her mind, of course. And they're welcome to come on this show anytime. But just because you are a celebrity or get paid millions of dollars to play a game doesn't mean you get a free pass to offer illogical arguments, avoiding substance, and just engage in drive-by media attacks. And you don't get to do that with impunity. And if you do that, you shouldn't be taken seriously. In case you hadn't heard, I wrote a best-selling book 15 years ago called Shut Up and Sing. I went after leftists such as Barbra Streisand, the Dixie Chicks, love their music, Michael Stipe, love his music, and a bunch of other celebrities who love to opine on politics. I routinely call out these elites who feel like their celebrity in one arena gives them political authority and heightened credibility to speak on all these complex issues of the day. Last week, we at the Ingram Angle caught Barbra Streisand in a little bitty lie. She claimed to Variety that the presidential election was rigged and that she had spoken to, quote, senators from Wisconsin and Michigan, close quote. Well, no one bothered to call up the 4 senators from those 2 states, but our producers did. We called both the Wisconsin senators, who told us they did not speak to Barbra Streisand and certainly said nothing about election fraud. Oops. Now, even former NBA star Kobe Bryant, a phenomenal basketball player for the Lakers, somehow won an Academy Award at the Me Too Oscars for a small animated film he made about basketball. Well, that's kind of fun. Well, there is now an online petition with over 16,000 signatures and counting to rescind Bryant's Oscar owing to, I guess, a rape accusation in 2003 by a 19-year-old woman. They ultimately didn't bring the charges. He settled the civil case with her. The accuser refused to testify before they went to trial, and so eventually he did away with the suit by, I guess, settling the civil claim. But Kobe's was just one of the many awkward Oscar moments that were kind of far from funny and even repellent to the American public. Host Jimmy Kimmel, in his opening monologue, referenced this film, Call Me By Your Name, a Best Picture nominee, and the film was about a 24-year-old man who has intimate relations with a 17-year-old boy.
We don't make films like Call Me By Your Name for money. We make them to upset Mike Pence.
Okay, well, actually, you might not thrill the American people either, who saw few of the art house films celebrated at this tedious Tinseltown love fest last night. Jimmy Kimmel's Oscars fell to a 9-year viewership low last year in 2017. But this year, I've got to say, Jimmy, you outdid yourself. He presided over the lowest rated Oscars ever. I say nothing says happy 90th Oscar like a 20% drop in your lousy ratings from last year. 3 cheers. But let's face it, these people are fanatics, so they don't care.
Dreams are the foundation of America.
And to all the dreamers out there, we stand with you.
Marginalized people deserve to feel like they belong. Representation matters.
Who are more marginalized, by the way, in Hollywood than conservatives? How about Christian conservative? Is there anyone more marginalized than someone who actually voted for Trump and works in a major film? Come on, these people are just complete phonies. Hollywood, sports figures, all these people have one job. And this is why they get paid a lot of money, and good on them if they do get paid a lot of money and they're good at it. They entertain us. But instead, as we saw last night, they give us like bizarre political lines or storylines or characters that most Americans can't really relate to. And then, meanwhile, Hollywood ends up attacking a lot of the values and ideas that millions upon millions of Americans hold dear. And then when they're criticized, they cry like infants being weaned, which makes sense since many of the celebrities are used to feeding off their sycophantic staff and media enablers. They're not used to criticism. Perish the thought. All of this is a big turnoff, though, to the audience. And they have a lot of options to choose from these days, don't they? And if you want to know why these celebrities are so nasty to the president and so upset when he or any conservative dares to crack a joke, well, I have an answer. For all their vitriol and all their bile directed at conservatives and the president, you know what he keeps doing? Put it in a language that everybody understands here. He keeps putting points on the board for America, the American worker.